Hello everyone and welcome to Star Wars On High. Thank you for stopping by. So the other day I put out my review of The Princess and the Scoundrel by Beth Revis, and in that video I said that I plan to compare it to Dave Wolverton's The Courtship of Princess Leia. A lot of people believe that The Princess and the Scoundrel is just a rip-off of The Courtship of Princess Leia, when in fact the books aren't even remotely similar. And I'm going to come right out and say that I personally think The Princess and the Scoundrel is a better book. But since the book was even announced in the first place, people were already upset and coming after it, saying that we already saw this story in The Courtship of Princess Leia, and the constant accusations that this is another example of Disney trying to cover up Legends, when in fact everything that is now considered Legends has still been Legends since 2012. No book had any exceptions to this rule. I guess people just did not want to let that go, which I can understand. It's just, when this stuff comes out, you can't say they're erasing history when it still exists. But let's talk about these two books. With The Princess and the Scoundrel, Han and Leia get married in the beginning of the book and then make their way to their honeymoon. Once on board the Halcyon, their trip takes a turn for the worst when everyone starts to realize that Leia is on board and how people are blowing off the news of Emperor Palpatine's death. All of which leads to a hidden Imperial threat on the planet of Madurs. In The Courtship of Princess Leia, we have Leia nearly marrying Prince Isolder after being offered a bunch of ridiculous gifts that drives Han into jealousy. Han decides to blow off steam by playing a game of sabacc, where he there wins the deed to the entire planet of Dathomir, and plans to give it as a gift to Leia to show his love for her in hopes that she will choose Han over the prince. That plot makes no sense. After everything we've seen these two go through in the original trilogy, I'm just supposed to sit here and believe that Leia would actually choose some random over Han. I guess there was a lesson that was learned from this book, as they tried more or less the same thing again in Shadows of the Empire, only this time it was Prince Shizor trying to seduce Leia. I bring this up because in the original manuscript, the story would have Leia actually falling for his charm, but they decided against it because it just wasn't in Leia's character. That wasn't something that she would do. And they were right. The Courtship of Princess Leia tells a poor representation of our heroes. The book even says that Han abducts Leia against her will to take her to Dathomir, and Prince Isolder finds them with the help of Luke. I'm sorry, but again, the plot just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. At least with The Princess and the Scoundrel, the characters actually feel like themselves. Their actions are perfect representations of who they are, which is hard to do, especially with Han. Han Solo has to be the most difficult character to write out of the original three. Most of the books that I've read, both Legends and canon, paint Han in a way that just doesn't feel like Han. And there are plenty of moments in The Princess and the Scoundrel where I felt this way too. And I guess I would blame Harrison Ford for making the character so complex, but I'm not even sure if that would make any sense. My overall point, however, is that these two books are in no way similar, and I think that this is a positive. There are a lot of people that like Legends more than canon, and vice versa, but with The Courtship of Princess Leia, it's not being overlapped or rewritten. It's two completely different stories that you can enjoy at the same time. I think The Courtship of Princess Leia struggles to hold up to what we have now, but I think that was because The Courtship of Princess Leia was meant to be a trilogy, and it's been talked about that all of the plot points of those original three books were all squashed together into one story. And I would be inclined to believe that because it really reads like there were a lot of ideas going on at once. The biggest takeaway for me, though, is the fact that we don't see the wedding in the book. The last few pages of The Courtship of Princess Leia sets up for the wedding to begin, and then it just ends, while The Princess and the Scoundrel focuses on the wedding for the first several chapters of the beginning of the book. But this is just my personal take on both of these books. Yes, I left out several plot points, I do understand, but even if I went over every crucial detail in both of these books, they still would not line up. But maybe I'm crazy. What are your thoughts? Are these books too similar in your eyes, and which one do you prefer over the other? Let us know all of your thoughts in the comments below. As always, thank you for sticking around to this point in the video, and we hope to see you again very soon.